What kind of place changes lives for 75 years? Where people arrive uncertain and leave confident.
Difficult, it's not impossible, but just adapting. It's basically like you have to be creative.
Where doors open and keep opening for generations.
Hello.
Creating a network of connected friends and family who are that much richer for it. Where lives are transformed, communities are strengthened, and independence begins.
Well, you gotta be positive in both good times and bad times.
The Inland Empire Lighthouse for the blind.
The fellowship, camaraderie, the encouragement, and the friendships that have been formed through all the decades that have, lended to creating an atmosphere of dignity and self-esteem and confidence. Place on 8th Street, which would be the north side, 8th Street off of Sierra Way. This would be the first, official meeting place of the lighthouse. This would be after they were meeting in the parks and the Elks Lodge or church. This might be the first donation J. Dale Gentry gave to us for a place for the blind people to meet. And then it went from there to buying this facility right here. You can see we're raising the sign, and this is the building here in Sierra Way. Sierra Way's right here, and it was Vine Street over here.
Very nice.
And that's Bill Cornell, the first executive director, and that's C.W. Kelly, whose picture is down there on the wall, the first board president. That's listed. That would be Bill's office. That's C.W. Kelly, one of the first board presidents. J. Dale Gentry, our biggest benefactor. This is that same check. Bill Cornell also was our first woodshop teacher. J. Dale Gentry gave us money to buy the house on 8th Street. And Bob Hope was here at our facility.
And so this particular thing is going to allow me to be able to do it and get precise measurements to make that cut.
Nice.
So I can finish the flooring on at home.
We call that independence.
Yeah, I'd like to say so. Yeah, it's amazing. But here again, here's what this place, the skill they gave me, was to learn how to use this thing, and not to be afraid of the tools. Here, once again, you respect your tools, and I think that's with anyone, sighted or not sighted. that you got to respect the equipment that you're using at the time. If you can do that, then sky's the limit, I think. My name is Primo Pasillas. I'm retired from the county of San Bernardino. I worked with the county for the last 24 years plus. I retired in 2018. And so now I decided to come back to the lighthouse a couple of years ago since I lost a family member. And so now I'm here with the program once again. I started coming here back in 73, 74. So I've been a part of this family for a very, very, very long time. Back then in 73, 74, at that time they had the ceramics class, they had an arts and crafts class, they had a woodshop class, and they had a sewing class. And my primary interest at that time was the woodshop class, and there's where I learned a lot that dealt with wood and doing the woodshop class. At that time, we were able to use a lot of the equipment like the table saw, the skill saw, the drill presses and what have you. The instructor for the class was also visually impaired. He was almost totally blind, and so he taught us how to use the equipment, how to respect and how to be careful with all of that equipment at that time. I got a lot of hands-on skills that I've been able to use throughout my life, where I could use all the equipment, and I do have a little shop at my home. You know, I've built things like cabinets, bookshelves, desks throughout my homes and what have you. So there were skills that I learned coming to this program back in the 70s. All those skills that I learned back then, I've been able to use throughout my life up until this day. And there was a lot of things that I was able to learn, but then at the same time, it was also a lot of friends that I made throughout the time that I came here back in the 70s and in the early 80s until I started working with the county in, I believe it was 93. This particular program is more emphasized on the friendship and the camaraderie that it offers. I've always looked at this program as like my second home. Like I said, I've made a lot of friends and family that I consider throughout the time that I've been coming here. Bogman Bay, the director of the Lighthouse for the Blind, after Bill left. And with Bob, I was able to learn a lot. Here again, while I was going to college, I was able to do a quarter internship here at the Lighthouse while Bob was here, and I was able to attend some of the directors' meetings and the board meetings that they had, where I learned a lot about the business portion. They offer us free meals, they offer us free transportation to pick us up and take us home. And so I was able to learn a lot about what a nonprofit was while I was doing my internship in the mid-'80s. So I learned not just being a student portion of this particular program, but also how a nonprofit ran and what they need to do. And there's a lot of stuff that I think maybe a lot of students aren't aware of what it takes to keep this business up and running. And I appreciate all of the things that they've done for me back then and here again today. The most important part of this program to me is the family thread that we have. This program, although they do have classes that they do offer like Braille, macrame, ceramics, some wood shop, some of the independent skills like in the cooking class, and then Arturo, who teaches the Braille and mobility portion of the program. But overall, it's more of the camaraderie and the family that is really emphasized here at the Lighthouse. And so that's what we all enjoy when we come here. I thank the Lighthouse because here again, they pick us up every day. They take us home every day. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, they offer us a free meal for lunch, which it's a big deal for a lot of us. To be able to come and to be a part of this particular program and be a part of a family that I believe is here at the Lighthouse.
So you can see that when you look at all these pictures that we have of our history, there's a continuing theme. I'm seeing it like it's just a different decade, but it's all the same. We're together like a family, and we're encouraging each other, and you're just looking at different faces, the same things happening.
Stereotypes about blind people and a lot of education that's not done out there about blind people. People ask us everything in the book, from how do we tie our shoes, how we feed ourselves, to basically that's how we exist. You have people that have been blind from birth, and there's challenges that come with that I will never understand. I don't know what it's like to have to go to elementary school being a blind person, a blind child, but that has its own fights. Losing your sight later on in life also has its own fights that a person that was blind from birth will never understand, but we still in the same community and have some of the same struggles. People like me and people like myself are trying to put out there is that don't look at us like, put us in a corner, or look at it like we don't have any capabilities, because a lot of us out here, if not most of us, are really like trying to, as far as equality, as far as being held to the same standards, if I want to be held to the same standards, I want to be awarded the same opportunities. We can do almost, I ain't say every single thing, but we can do about almost everything a sighted person could do. We just got to adapt to things that help us do it, from the workplace to the school place to society. Don't count us out. And for the people that's out there going through vision issues, whether they're new to it or whether you've been going through it, it is going to be a challenge. It is tough. That's just naturally realistic, but it's ways to get around it. As long as you're willing to find those ways and those resources, you can get through it and live a life of quality.
Let's do it another 75 years. Let's take it on for another 75 years, and let's have somebody 75 years down the road come in and say, here I am now. Thank you. Appreciate it very, very much.